Randy's Random Rants.
Darnelle and Tania, Washington.
They got into the shootout with that deputy, committed carjackings, armed robberies, and then stabbed a completely innocent woman.
They were now being called the 2012 Bonnie and Clyde.
Detectives put out a bolo for Susie's car. They need to find the Washingtons before they harm someone else. 5 days later, on October...
A second cop car pulls up, and then a third cop car, and they basically corral him in.
Even though he and Tania are surrounded on all sides, Darnelle refuses to come quietly.
Darnelle is fighting. They had to tase him to calm him down and to apprehend him.
Distraught, totally discombobulated. I mean, this was her worst nightmare.
Darnelle and Tania Washington are placed in police custody and transported to the King County Jail.
Both had warrants out for their arrest from the escape and the carjackings, the attempted murder of the police officer, the murder of Miss Coe.
Word of the arrests travels swiftly back to Tania's family in Los Angeles.
I just cannot wrap my head around it. I was just kind of speechless. Couldn't comprehend it with my best friend.
It was anything to survive. Whatever they needed at that time, they made sure they got it.
Come on,
The
what'd
couple
they
is
get? What'd they
transported back
get?
to Northern California, where detectives attempt to elicit confessions from them. Investigators have no choice but to charge Tania and Darnelle with murder, robbery, carjacking, and burglary. It will now be up to a judge and jury to determine their fate. And when push comes to shove, will the couple stick together, or will one of them finally turn on the other?
Who cares?
Sometimes when you unleash a monster, you can't put it back in the cage. They're already loose.
That's what's so sad. That's the heartbreaking part. You meet this one idiot, and it just disrupts your whole world. Just turn your whole life around. Nobody's worth that. And to come this far for somebody, I just cannot wrap my head around it.
For the family of this girl or the people, you know, a lot of people don't like what I have to say. I really don't care. But cause if it was my daughter or my son, I could truthfully tell you that I truly would not care about the repercussions or the sentence or the results of their life if they chose to do some idiotic crap like anything. I mean, and this one right here, I'm talking about just bozo move after bozo move. Like I would disown anybody, my own mama, anybody. I don't care who it is. If I was following Jesus and I found out he did bozo moves like that, I would stop following him. I would disown our connection. Sorry, but for the people that care about these people, that's your problem. I'm serious. Like, I mean, it's a damn shame, and there's really no words to explain or define the idiotic function of these people. Like, what is your function? The purpose, like, there's no purpose. Like, you literally had no purpose in life. Do you know what that means? Okay.
Darnelle and Tania Washington have been charged with a murderous crime spree that kept the entire state of California on pins and needles for nearly 6 weeks. But before their trials get underway, Tania's defense team pleads with the judge in a preliminary hearing. They claim that their client is a victim herself.
Boo.
Tania's defense team argued that she had been abused by Darnelle
Of
and that
course.
she was an unwilling participant in these crimes.
He had to have been smacking the crap out of
She
her.
was manipulated by him. She tried to run and he threatened her a few times to kill
No.
her.
I don't think so.
She's been in an abusive relationship, and that means that there's a really powerful bond that forms there.
The judge, however, rules that Tania must face her crimes in a trial like her husband,
Good job,
which
Judge.
forces Tania to make a life or death choice.
Before Darnelle went to trial in 2016, Tania took a plea deal for 23 years in state prison.
Boo.
Tania pleads no contest to manslaughter, carjacking, second-degree robbery, and residential robbery. And in return, she doesn't have to testify against
What
her
about
husband, Darnelle.
the murder?
On July 22, 2016, the trial for Darnelle Washington begins. Prosecutors lay out their case. They take jurors on a wild ride, beginning with Darnell's daring escape from a Southern California detention center.
Which, how did that
It
happen?
took some planning, and it was quite brazen, but his mindset was to escape.
Please,
And
what kind of
Tania was
detention
there waiting
facility
for him.
was that?
He
Like,
said, I'm coming out one way or the other, but I want you to be there with a car and help me get away.
what kind of jail
After
was
5
this?
days on the run,
In
the couple then
California?
got
What?
into a shooting altercation with Deputy John Marquez in El Monte.
They pull up to a
You guys
shopping
need to
center.
step your
Tania
shit up,
got
dog.
out, and Darnell's lying down in the back seat with a shotgun. This deputy starts running the plate number on their car, and Darnelle jumps up and starts firing shots.
They gave her 23 years.
Prosecutors allege that once
You got a cop shot, almost dead, a woman murdered in her home, and they gave her a deal for 23 years.
Terrified if Darnelle has a gun.
And she doesn't have to testify against it. Like,
Got in the car and sped away.
In regards to Tania,
if you
this is
ask
her right
me,
about
I
it.
would say
She
that the
chose to
system
stick
just
with
be
it.
telling people to go kill
the
people. Like,
Washingtons
yeah, go
then
kill
burglarized
somebody
the
else.
store in Pinole.
Darnelle and Tania
Give
had
you a couple
stolen
of
a
years.
hacksaw and fled in the silver car.
You could
They
do
knew that
that
they'd been seen
standing
on
on your
camera,
head.
so they ditched the car.
They manipulated the barrel, then they sawed the wooden handle off. He wanted to conceal the gun.
Signed. Tania positioned herself as the lookout, while Darnelle demanded Susie hand over her car keys.
He asked her for the keys to her car in the same manner that he's done to numerous people at this point, armed with a gun.
When Susie won't give up her keys, Darnelle stabs her 21 times.
And she witnessed all of this and got 23 years.
Darnelle had fired a shotgun round. Neighbors would have heard. So, stabbing and a beating, while maybe loud within the home, isn't going to be heard outside the walls of that home.
Darnelle and Tania then slipped away under the cover of darkness in Susie Coe's car. On Tania.
His defense was that Tania did it, saying that throughout this whole crime spree, Darnelle was cool, calm, and calculating, but Tania was freaked out and panicked. Just attacked Susie against his wishes, and that she was the lone killer and he had nothing to do with it.
Darnell's defense is a complete shock to everyone familiar with the case, especially Tania and her loved one.
I want to laugh right
That's not
now.
her personality. That's not her spirit. She would never stab somebody. She would never kill anybody. No. She
No?
wouldn't.
Would she stand there and
Darnell's
listen to her
claims are
man
stunning,
kill somebody
jury
and not
isn't
say
buying.
nothing? And then get
On September
caught screwing
28,
him in the back of a
2016,
car? Would she do
The
that?
jury finds Darnelle Washington guilty.
Darnelle was convicted of the first-degree murder and then given the death penalty.
He's sitting on death row right now and plotting his next escape, I'm sure.
The verdict and sentencing brings some closure to the families of Darnelle and Tania's victims. However, the pain will last a lifetime.
Justice was served, but justice can only go so far. The Coe family and everybody who loves Susie Coe is always going to have a hole in their heart.
They've lost a dear loved one and they'll never be able to see her again. It's heartbreaking.
Really a needless and senseless crime. There was no reason to murder her.
Hey,
For Tania, she has 23 years behind bars to think about what she did and why.
The tragedy for Tania in this is she's going to spend the prime of her life in prison.
While she's in custody, maybe she will realize that the price that she was willing to pay to be on this crime spree with Darnelle, it just wasn't worth it.
he said that she did it.
Never gonna experience being a mother. All these years she's wasted.
She could still have babies when she comes out.
She was just willing to trust him, to trust that he had their best interest.
What I want to know is, after all of that stuff that she just did and running around with this clown, right? Because I bet you he's got a lover in there, okay? That's why he escaped. He was tired of getting the muffins pounded on, and you came and picked him up and got your ass whipped and went on a spree and who knows what else, but he flipped it on you. They should have took that plea that they gave her back, that and then just slayed her for real. 23 years. And I mean, for real, when you get out, are you gonna remarry him, or your vows gonna be renewed, or you guys still married? I want to know. Man, oh man. Oh yeah, and the death penalty. You don't give anybody the death penalty, man. You let them live. You let them sit in jail, and sit in there, and do whatever it is that they do. Put on lipstick and dance in freaking leotards or something. I mean, you don't kill them. They put her on trial. She doesn't want to talk, and then after, after so long, this dude is ready to throw he's ready to throw everything on her. Yeah, she was driving me around, took me on this killing spree, man. She forced me to get out of jail. She was begging, and she came up with the plan. That's your boo. That's your number one lover, your undercover lover. Your Snoopy Snaps. Your Winnie the Pooh Bear. Huh? He threw your ass under the bus. That's because he knew when he got behind them bars, he was going to see El Jocko again. El Jocko was in there waiting for his ass. They call him El Jocko. Yeah. Bernard, or fucking Big Billy Bob Bernard, something like that. But they call him El Jocko. That's that nigga's real, know what I'm saying? He ain't, why you think come on. Sorry.
Then, one night, he tells her
If you take a man that thinks like that will get married to a woman or date a woman or anything like that, and then take her on a crime spree, killing people, killing somebody in front of them, robbing, stealing, and this is your wife. Not just, I mean, it's bad enough if it's your girlfriend or whatever the case is. Maybe really you don't do anything, but we're talking more than just drive me here and you go and freaking steal a shirt and she drives off. You taking this girl, you have got to be getting screwed in your ass at some point, okay? And loving it for you to have the mentality or the thought. There's no man that thinks like that. I'm sorry. And people think that oh yeah, he's he's been in jail, he did time and da da da. People think that that's what makes you a man. You sitting in a fucking cell with people feeding you like a cat or dog 3 times a day, and you fucking know what I'm saying? Like that's not a man. Like and you fucking walk in lines and people telling you to wake up and sleep, and fucking you got fucking chow time and fucking rec time and shit. That's not being a man, dog. So if you got a person that thinks like that has that kind of mentality, like they're gonna take a girl and go on a crime spree, nigga, you're getting screwed in your ass, or you want to get screwed in your ass, okay? Because no real man thinks like that. They're not taking no fucking girl on no fucking crime spree or into battle with them. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna go fight a nigga and have your girl beat the nigga up? Like you gonna jump somebody with your girl with your punk ass and shit? Like, you need help, nigga? Like, I mean, go get a guy or some friends to help you do some crime if you go and do it. You don't go take, like, you understand what I'm saying? Don't do it at all. But shit, come on, man. Like, yes, if you have a man and he's taking you on fucking crime sprees, that nigga is either getting screwed, or he wants to get screwed, or he wants to do some anal fucking screwing and nut tugging, okay? I don't give a fuck what you say. Barbarians didn't take their women out with them to go fucking fight and conquer no fucking lands. Fucking Vikings ain't have no fucking women. Ninjas don't have no bitches fucking with them. Don't nobody in the UFC got fucking bitches on they fucking side, jumping in, kicking you and scratching you. Know what I'm saying? Nobody does that shit. You don't have mobsters. You don't see anybody from any mob, whether it's the Italian mob, Chinese mob, Russian mob. I mean, the Russian mob, I mean, you know, they might sell some hoes, and the hoes might beat you up and shoot you, but they're not involving them like that. I mean, man, it kind of sounds bad, but you know what I mean, okay? There ain't no mobsters, and then the people that they're working with or whatever, it's not their wife. It's not their wife, and it's not their girlfriends. Like, okay, they're like sluts and hoes and stuff. You don't see any mobsters going on crime sprees with their wife or their girlfriend or somebody that they're in a relationship with. Like, I haven't seen it yet. Then you got Bonnie and Clyde. Like, you can't compare anything like that to Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde, I believe, died together, didn't they? They died together. Like, that's a whole different situation. And then, I mean, you could speculate. I could speculate, but I'm pretty sure that if they did get caught, Clyde or Bonnie would not have went and snitched on either one and switched their story up and tried to fling the whole thing on one another. I don't think Clyde would have did that to Bonnie. Okay, so that's a whole different situation. And I mean, from what we know, Bonnie wasn't getting beat upside her head by Clyde, and she was doing the stuff willingly for what we know. Like, so if you want to take stuff like that, it's a whole different situation. Okay.